into the future.
Hey Eagles, welcome back to Landstown Listens, the podcast by students for students. We're here to keep you connected with everything happening around Landstown High School, from upcoming events and school news to student spotlights, sports updates, teacher interviews, and more. Join us as we dive into the latest buzz, share stories from our peers, and celebrate what makes your school special.
Today we are interviewing Mr. Blum and Ms. Balsino about their I Make a Difference award, as well as students who have had them as teachers and how they feel on them winning the award. Today we are excited to have Mr. Blum on the podcast. He is an English teacher here at Landstown High School and an active participant in various extracurricular activities, including lunch buddies, girls soccer, and more. We have a few questions before we start. So this is a very pressing question that a lot of our group members were wondering about. Are you a DC or a Marvel fan?
I mean, I'd have to go Marvel.
Okay, I appreciate that. I feel the same way.
Yeah, I'd have to go Marvel. I think that if you line up the superheroes in Marvel and you put them against the superheroes in DC, I think Marvel's going to win 9 times out of 10. I think they're definitely stronger. I mean, there's people in DC that I would debate are even superheroes.
Yeah.
Like Batman, does he have any superpowers?
I don't know. I mean, he blends in with the night.
Yeah, and he's kind of a cool detective, but I mean, anyone can do ninja stuff.
Yeah.
But like the Hulk?
Yeah, you nothing to compare.
No, not at all. So
Exactly.
no, I'm definitely Team Marvel on that one.
Good to know.
Yep.
Alrighty. So how long have you been teaching, and have you always taught here at Landstown?
No, I've been teaching. This is my 14th year. Whoa. Yeah. I know, right? Yikes. No, 14 years, and no, I taught in Fairfax County for 3 years. So this is just my 11th year.
Okay, so you've been here the rest of the years besides the
Yep,
Fairfax?
3 in Fairfax, and then this is my 11th in Virginia Beach.
Cool.
Yeah.
So since you have won the I Make a Difference award, how do you think you have made a difference?
Yeah. I don't know. I hope that the difference that I make is, I guess, just putting a little positivity and love in the world, I suppose. I don't know if I could point out a specific student, or maybe I could if I really thought about it, but I think that I make it a goal of mine every single day to just put love in the classroom and to make it a place where kids feel supported, where they feel like they can be themselves, and where they feel safe. And if they make a mistake, it's going to be all good. So I think that's kind of what I go into the day thinking, and kind of get to the end of the day and hope that I did. So
I love that. Alrighty, so what motivated you to become an English teacher over a different subject?
Yeah, so it's funny kind of how life happens, and different things occur, and you find yourself in situations that you never dreamed of being in. But I didn't actually ever think I would be an English teacher. I spent the first 8 years, no, that's not true, because this is my 14th year total. I spent the first 11 years as a teacher, as a special ed teacher, and I was doing inclusion English with some pretty incredible teachers that I really enjoyed working with. So I was kind of the co-teacher in the room. So I got familiar with just the curriculum and the content. So then when I got to a certain point as a special ed teacher where I didn't think that it was healthy anymore for me, and I kind of needed a change, I was kind of going through my options and thinking, all right, well, what would life look like outside as a special ed teacher? So I explored some, careers outside of education in general, but I just kept coming back to how much I just loved just being around kids and students, and, being, an opportunity for them to, succeed, or kind of giving them that opportunity. So anyway, As a special ed teacher, you can get dual endorsed. Well, really, any teacher can. But all I needed to do in that moment was to take sort of the secondary, like they call it a praxis test, and basically kind of assesses your knowledge of secondary English things, I suppose. And fortunately, somehow I passed, and so I got endorsed as an English teacher. And it worked out really well that at that time, someone was leaving the English department here at Landstown. I had been here for 11 years already, so I knew the principal and the assistant principals. So it was kind of just this like seamless transition into the English department.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that answers your questions. Your question was, why did I become an English teacher?
Yeah.
It's because I just wanted to be around students. I wanted to be around kids still.
Yeah.
And I was a sped teacher and then wanted to switch it up, and so I found myself in English.
So if you had the opportunity to go back and change your career path, do you think you would still choose to be a teacher or something different? Which I feel like you kind of answered a little bit of that with being around kids, but if you could choose a different path to still be around kids, would you still choose teaching or something different?
That's such a hard question. It is a hard question because there's certain things I love about teaching, and there's certain things that maybe I don't love. But I think that's true for every job you have.
Yeah.
I think there's always going to be things that you love and things that you don't love. There's going to be days that are hard and days that are easy. So I think that what matters the most is you find something that you love and you find a reason for why you love it. And I think for me, it's I'm gonna sound like such a fraud, but it's not the English stuff that I'm obsessed with.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. I enjoy the reading and the writing. I think that's some really, those are really valuable skills.
Yeah.
So I appreciate the opportunity to help students be better in those areas. But ultimately, I just, going back to what I said earlier, is I just love the opportunity I get to just love kids.
Yeah.
And help them through whatever it is. I mean, this world is so crazy and our society is so intense, and there's these standards that are set on, your generation that I just think are absurd. And I think that leads to a lot of sort of feelings of, where I think that a lot of students feel like they're lacking in a lot of things. So for me, it's the chance to come alongside and be like, no, like, you're loved no matter what.
Yeah.
No matter who you are, no matter what you're bringing into this classroom, no matter what you offer the world, like, you're loved. And I think that for me, that's why I teach. And if I could do that in a different job, I would love that.
Yeah.
But I'm here now, and I'm very thankful for the opportunity.
And we are very thankful for you, Mr. Blum. We can tell you do make a difference in everyone's lives here at the school, and anyone who has had your class or even just knows you, they can tell you are a great person, and we appreciate that so much. So let's go ahead and give Mr. Blum a round of applause. Thank you for your time and joining me on the podcast today. Your impact is truly appreciated. Now let's hear from a student about the difference Mr. Blum has made here at Landstown High School. Up next, we have Allie Earp, who is a senior here at Landstown. She has played varsity softball all 4 years and is an engaged student throughout her studies. All right, Allie, so what's your go-to walk-up song in softball?
I gotta say my go-to is So Fresh and So Clean. It's a great song.
Yeah. Why do you like it so much?
Because I feel like it speaks volumes about me as a player. I'm just so fresh and so clean.
Good to hear. Good to hear.
Absolutely.
Alrighty, so when did you have Mr. Blum as a teacher?
I had Mr. Blum my junior year.
What did you enjoy about his class?
I just love Mr. Blum was always so engaged with the students. He absolutely makes the classroom such a enjoyable environment. A lot of people struggle to stay engaged in school and struggle to pay attention. And Mr. Blum just made it so that it was easy and enjoyable.
Yeah. So how has Mr. Blum made a difference to you and your learning?
Mr. Blum offered me an outlet to where I could learn at my own pace, ask the questions that I needed to ask. He made it possible for me to think on a deeper level and to, really just allow my education to develop throughout my time in his classroom.
Yeah. So, with that being said, what would be one major impact that Mr. Blum had on you while taking his class, and what was the takeaway that you got from it?
I think Mr. Blum is always just authentically himself. Like he's a goofball. He loves what he does, and I think that was the greatest impact he had on my life in general, whether that's school or out of school. He showed that there's absolutely nothing wrong with being yourself, and it is so much more fun to live life as yourself than trying to be somebody else. So I think that's the greatest impact that he had on my life in the classroom and outside of it.
Yeah, that's really great. So thank you so much, Allie, for being on the podcast today. We appreciate you sharing your thoughts and experiences. Now let's transition to our second teacher interview, where we'll learn more about another teacher here at Landstown who makes a difference. Joining us today in today's episode, we have Miss Balestino. She is one of our marketing teachers. She teaches first-year marketing, advanced sports and entertainment marketing, and fashion marketing. So which marketing class is your favorite to teach and why?
I think it's a tie between sports and entertainment marketing and fashion marketing.
Yeah.
I'm a huge sports fan. I grew up in Pittsburgh, so Steelers, Pirates, Penguins, live and breathe it. And I've had a clothing business for 26 years, so fashion marketing is near and dear to my heart as well.
Alrighty, so how long have you been teaching, and have you always taught here at Landstown?
I've been teaching 15 years. I started out, I filled a long-term sub position at a private school, Atlantic Shores Christian. I taught English because I'm certified for both English and marketing. And I taught English there for a year. I subbed teaching English for another year. And this is my 13th year in Virginia Beach schools.
Yeah.
I taught for 6 years at Renaissance Academy. And I've been here, this is my 7th year at Landstown now.
Yeah. Alrighty, so since you have won the I Make a Difference award, how do you feel you make a difference?
I try to treat all the kids the same. We have the same expectations for all of them, very high expectations. Even if a child just comes to class and doesn't really seem like he or she wants to do anything, encourage them to get their work done, and try to convey the big picture that I understand that today they might not be in the mood, but it's going to help them in the long run, because I truly feel that all the marketing classes are practice for the work world. And their good habits that they demonstrate in the class will convey to their jobs.
Yeah.
And I want them to be successful after graduation.
100%. So what motivated you to pick marketing over another subject?
Well, my undergrad is in marketing. I graduated from college in Pennsylvania, and I actually went to a college that 6 of my older siblings had gone to before me.
Yeah.
And my brother was a marketing major. 2 brothers were criminology majors, and a brother and a sister were math majors. So I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, but my brother, Jimmy, encouraged me about marketing, and that was my undergrad, and I was in sales. I have been in sales since I was 22, and I stayed home with my children. I worked my clothing business while they were younger, and it was after I got divorced that my boys were in middle school, and I've joked around that they were far too cute to be home alone every day, and I thought being on the teaching schedule would be much better than having them home alone all day in the summertime, because they were too old for daycare. And it just made sense for me. And I call it my accidental career that I love, because I truly love teaching.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have done it probably if I hadn't been divorced.
Well, we can tell that you truly do love teaching, because we just see it every day and how you're just such a positive presence in our school. So that's all the questions that we have for you today. On behalf of my group and me, thank you for taking the time to do our show. We truly appreciate everything you do, and you make a real difference. Now let's hear from a student who has had Miss Balestino sharing how she has made a positive impact. Today we have Maddox Smith on the podcast. He is a senior here at Landstown. He has been in DECA for the past 4 years and is also the DECA vice president. He is here to share how Miss Balestino makes a difference in his school experience. But before we dive into that, we have a few questions for you. What made you want to join DECA?
So I actually didn't want to join DECA initially. Mr. Wright, the old marketing teacher, really made a push for a lot of the freshmen to join. And I decided on the last day that the money was due that I was going to join. But I was just joining just to go on the field trips. Like I didn't want to compete or anything. And he made me compete. And I'm so glad that he did, because I've met so many people from all over the world just from DECA alone, and it's
Yeah.
created a lot of travel experiences for me, and many doors opening up.
So what other interests do you have outside of school?
I play steel drums. I also play regular drums. I like hanging out with my friends, eating food, just normal teenage stuff, I guess.
Yeah. Alrighty. So how do you think you've grown through DECA over the past 4 years?
That's a really good question. I definitely think my confidence has improved, as well as my ability to speak in front of a large audience, and even just like having a conversation and thinking on the fly has really helped just from the competition portion alone. But the people that I have met have definitely helped me grow as well, into a better person, a more mature person, a man, and yeah.
Alrighty. So how has Miss Balestino made a difference to you in your learning?
So she hasn't just like impacted my school life. Like the other day, she was helping me with my application for like jobs and stuff. But she's helped me with other homework, English, math, anything. Like you can tell that she just wants to help and that she loves doing what she does. And she's not one of those teachers that just like, she gets up there, she teaches, and then she goes sits down and you do your assignment. You actually get to do projects and stuff. And
Interact with her rather
yeah.
than just being, hey, go do this.
yeah.
Alrighty. So what role has Miss Balestino played in your development in DECA?
So she's been my advisor for the past 4 years. She's been the only advisor that I've had for the past 4 years. Miss Crowder came in sophomore year, and Mr. Wright was there freshman year, and then we had Miss Ailstock too. But she has gotten to see me grow taller, but as well as a person, like I said. But she's got a lot of good information about like speaking one-on-one and building a business too. This year I'm doing entrepreneurship, so I've been looking to her for a lot of pointers because she has been in clothing. I forget the name of the company, but she gets to travel around and does these like pop-up sales. She's been doing that for like 20-something years now.
Yeah.
And so she's really good to lean on when it comes to sales and merchandise. She's the main advisor that helps or that does the school store.
Yeah.
So we look to her heavily, especially for the student school-based enterprise manual that we have to do every year.
Yeah.
It's about the school store, and man, we had so many like weird questions that Tyler and I didn't even comprehend, and she's like, oh yeah, write this down, blah 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 blah, and we got gold certified last year again. So
Yeah. Well, that's awesome.
yeah.
We can tell Miss Balestino definitely is a great teacher, and she really does make a difference through our school.
Yeah.
So we want to say thank you to all the teachers and students who took the time to come on to our show today. We appreciate all of you, and you truly do make a difference.
Thanks for tuning in into Landstown Listens. We hope you enjoyed this episode and feel more connected to what's happening around our school. Remember, this podcast is all about you, the students. So if you have story ideas, events to share, or topics you want us to cover, reach out to Miss E. Rogers to let us know. This is Landstown Listens. Until next time.
Into the future.